Hey everyone, Raptorspank here. I just wanted to start the beginning of this video with a little quick update. We filmed a bunch of videos earlier this year, so sorry I'm just getting to putting them out now. Didn't get a chance to really spend any time editing the videos after recording them, so we actually started on a sort of round-robin bracket to decide our best commoner deck out of the ones we had previously built, as well as the ones we built off the show, but like on the show too. Just kind of taking the combination of all the best ones of those and putting them up against each other. And then Dusk to Dawn came out, so we filmed an episode of going over the new commons from Dusk to Dawn, and that's what this episode is, because we started the bracket, then the new set came up, so we recorded the one for the new set, and then we went back to the bracket play stuff. So I just haven't had a chance with a bunch of game jams that I was doing over the last 3 months, so I didn't get around to editing the videos, and that's why we're getting this really weird release where Bright Lights is coming out this weekend, but we're talking about the last release earlier this year. So that's what this episode's going to be about, and then the follow-up episodes are going to be the bracket play for determining what the best deck was in Commoner of all the ones we've built. So this week is just going to be a bit of a blast from the past, talking about the old commons from the last set, and then we're jumping into that bracket stage rather than doing Bright Lights. So just want to give everyone an update on that and say sorry for taking so long to get the video out. So without further ado, we'll jump into Flesh and Blood Commoner Vodcast episode 29. All right, well, episode 29 of the Flesh and Blood Commoner Vodcast.
I was close.
You were close, and technically you'd be accurate if the other episode actually got released.
Right.
You would have been right. So you may have been remembering whatever we said, whenever we said it in the other one about what episode it was.
I was just going off instinct. It just felt right, which technically it was right. I'm just going to leave it off as I'm right, but you made me wrong.
Aha! The house always wins. But episode 29, we are going to be looking at the new Dusk Till Dawn cards that just came out last Friday, I think. I believe the full set is out and released.
Yes.
Into the wild.
This is where the new vampire class comes out, right?
Honestly, I have been deliberately not looking at it that much. So that could be true, and I wouldn't know it. But I don't believe so. The biggest things I know is there's a new Prism, and there is a new Shadow Rune Blade.
Right.
So new Prism, and then totally different Shadow Rune Blade. Not Jane.
Right. Of course, it's his disciple who turned into a vampire.
I mean, her name's Vincent, so she's, similar sounding to vampire. But yeah, so we're going to be looking at the comments.
It's actually about vampires.
That would be funny. I would be shocked, though, if that was the case. But yeah, so we're going to look at the common cards as usual. We might stop and look at some non-common cards just for fun, but
so we can
probably
cry
not.
Or know what we're going to sell.
Yeah, like the sweet Light of Soul that is at the top of the list for Dusk Till Dawn, which is... Oh,
let me zoom in here.
Yeah. That's one of the one times that if we had a webcam, it would have been a lot better. Missed the entire visual of you adjusting your graphic, or your glass as you said that. Yeah, so the new... what was that? Fabled card is... a resource again that just, if you pitch it, you reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's yellow, it goes into your Hero Soul.
Okay.
Also, this is a Fable card that only pitches for 2. So, obviously strictly worse than that Iron Bauble or whatever it was. Platinum Bauble?
Titanium Bauble?
Titanium Bauble.
Yeah.
That's what it was. That pitches for more. So, strictly better card than Light of Soul, obviously. All right. Well, I guess we're starting with the new Prism, and something that is actually rare. So we do actually get to look at that. First off, oh wow, they cut quite a lot off of her health there.
Oh wow.
Quite a lot.
That's an interesting. Does that mean she's OP?
Well, she was the old one, so they're probably worried that she's going to be. And that they realized it was a little bit weird for a mage to have 16 health, or a wizard to have 16 health, and then the illusionist to have a full 20. So whenever a card with Herald in its name is put into your soul, you can search your deck for a figment. Well, we'll have to see what the figments are, and conversely too, if they are actually in commoner, whatever they are. But at the first part, I was like, "Oh, Herald." So that's like the allies she could make and all that. And then I realized that literally like 90% of the Light Illusionist attacks are Herald of X.
Right.
So it's literally her whole deck. And then if you banish a card, you awaken a Figment, which flips it. Okay, well, I'm glad it told us that ahead of time, so we'll know that when we get to the Figments.
Which are probably all the way at the bottom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are some coming up.
Oh, okay. I was thinking they were tokens.
Well, okay. I say some are coming up. We haven't looked at what Figment of Erudition is. It might not be a Figment, which would be very funny. I mean, very, very funny. So that's interesting. That we'll have to really see what the rest of it is. But tutoring seems really, really good if you get to actually tutor in Commoner. And we already know for Commoner it's going to be easy to trigger the tutoring. So it's just whether you can actually find stuff in Commoner.
What rarity is she? Yeah.
Rip?
Yep.
Okay, well, might not matter. Unless there is another version of her. But ironically, we do get her weapon, though.
Yep.
Target angel attack or attack action card with Herald in its name gets go again. So, I mean, that's actually useful.
Yeah.
That may even automatically replace the current weapon, which is the thing that turns your spectral shields into attacks that have go again, and I think swing for 3, but they cost 3 to attack.
Okay.
So that's where the downside comes in.
Right. This one costs 2.
Yeah, and gives go again to an existing attack, which seems probably better.
It is instant as well.
Oh yeah, it is. That is neat right there. So you can kind of hide whether it gets go again.
Well, they'll just probably assume.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, I guess you could pick and choose.
Mm-hmm.
Or I mean, maybe not. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. And then we got legendary equipment, so that's not really doing anything for us.
Nope.
But we've got figments, which are majestic. When this enters the arena, create a ponder token. Ponder token's the thing that lets you draw at the end of turn, right?
Yes.
Okay. Right before you arsenal and draw back up. Interesting. Not super sold on that one, but
I do like the art.
I do like the art. That's true. Especially that side's fantastic. Oh, does this flip into that? Is that how this works?
It does say double-sided, so I guess so.
Yeah, so I guess when you awaken it, it turns into an angel. That's how this works. So she does allies like Dromai, but you have to awaken them to do it. Okay. I really like the art on that one.
Yes.
You can turn a card in any banished zone face down. Oh, that's rude. Oh wow, and the angel side just starts banishing stuff from your soul to banish cards from the banished zone.
Oh boy.
I'm
kind of glad I don't have to deal with that in Commoner.
Yeah, because so far all the figments are in fact majestic. Majestic.
Ooh, look at that art.
Which one?
Yeah, that one on the left.
That?
Up.
That?
Yeah.
Oh, that is straight up Avacyn from
yeah,
from Magic the Gathering in every way. I'm just kind of like speed running through this to see if any of the figments are less than majestic. So far, no. So yeah, looks like that'll be a no. Which matters less now that we've seen that the hero is also majestic, because they hate Commoner. They hate us on a deep and fundamental level. I'm gonna laugh when we get to the Shadow Runeblade, and it's the same thing.
Oh
it's
God!
Like,
please.
Let me just.
Are we not even gonna get the new Shadow Runeblade? That seems impossible.
Let me just double check here. Commoner. Like, nothing has changed here, right? We're still Commoner rare. Yep. Cool. All right. Well, pouring out. Yeah, that would be really tragic if none of them fall in that category. So we'll just ignore. And almost all of these cards we're passing right now are reprints.
Yep. And
very interesting ones, because like these are all listed as rare. Oh, because they're all extended art. Okay. I was like, these are commons. So like these are playable, technically speaking, if we wanted to use these versions. But they're just new artwork of existing cards.
I see.
Okay. New cards. Target attack action with Herald in its name gets go again. And it buffs angel attacks. I have a feeling angel attacks will be less relevant now. But a zero cost go again, not bad in and of itself at instant speed.
Then a buff.
And then a buff. Also zero cost. Oh, and then this is, I was like, I thought it was, I was nerfing things that were blocking that were heralds that were blocking, but no, this is 4 cards blocking herald. That's actually pretty exciting, because I have Banishing Light in my Prism deck, and that has a cost to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a much better way to do the same thing for 0.
Oh, also they're instants.
They are.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, so it's for preventing your Phantasm from getting broken.
I see.
Yeah, and it's pretty good at that, I would think. Especially if you can start using like the yellow one here, it's not awful. I mean, you can even get away with the blue one. To be fair, I've got the blue Banishing Light in it, so I have a feeling I probably would not use Celestial Resolve, but that's not awful. Technically speaking, it is better than like the defense reactions in a way, unless you can't block. Unless it's like Benji and you can't block.
Right.
And then that sucks. But like the red card gives you +5,
which is very decent.
Yeah. I mean, the yellow one gives +4, which yellow can be really, really good in Illusionist, so I don't hate it. I think all of these new commons are playable.
They are playable. The one that targets angels, I think, is a little bit.
Yeah, it depends on if you need the. Well, yeah, it's definitely worse than it would be otherwise. And It's like, is a 0 cost go again better than the alternatives? I think is the question.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to look at Prism's deck again to know for sure, since that is the only deck that can use it.
Right.
Since we don't get a new Prism, because they hate us. So let us never forget that they hate us. That is just the regular Bolin, right?
Yep.
Okay. We do have a new weapon. Okay. The L card has been put into your... Oh, my. Now, see, that's the first thing to make me actually kind of excited to try building Bolin. Because charging is so difficult, but... I mean, if you get a 5-power weapon out of it, that's kind of disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
That makes it better, because like before it was you had like the multiple attacks all buffing each other kind of thing with the axes, so you wanted to use both, but then you needed to also charge your soul at the same time. This is just like throw charge attack and then beaming blade for a bunch. I could get behind that. Oh, and 2, it works with Bolton.
Does it?
Yeah, because his attack reaction is a target attack with greater power than its base.
Oh.
And it will always have greater than its base when it's attacking, when you're actually doing damage with it. So, okay. Maybe a building Bolton in the future. Beaming Blade Bolton sounds fun. Oh, and it is only him that can use this, too. Not that, I guess it makes sense, because what would put in your soul do for any other warrior, but that's actually, that's pretty sick.
It's a good way to keep cards, you know? You just keep them
It is.
in your soul, and you'll never lose them. They won't go to the graveyard. They won't get banished.
Nobody plays the cards that banish things from people's souls. Come on. All right. Well, that was exciting start at least. Then we have Glaring Impact. That's where we start. Interesting. So we've got a new Dominate that is more conditional.
I think we've had Overpower before.
Well, we had a card called Overpower, I think. I think there's a warrior card called Overpower that's just like an attack buff.
I thought there was Overpower for Rhinar.
Maybe. I mean, it's neat. It's not a bad thing either way. And this is a card that charges, so that's kind of neat.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
My only issue that I'm seeing with this card now is that it's Overpower, so that it limits what people can block with, but it does 4 damage. So one card blocks most of that. And this is the red version. So it only is going to get worse from here. But yeah, so that's my concern with it. We'd have to... Maybe we will build Bolton and we'll look at this card and be like, this is fantastic. But I feel like there were better ways to charge your soul than this.
Well, maybe it's just because there's a lot of boosts you can do.
Maybe. Yeah, I suppose if we find like a ton more boosts down below too, then this does start to get a lot better. I think you're probably only going to want to use the red, or maybe, I suppose we are starting to push towards yellow Bolton here, so...
Yeah.
So maybe we are going to do more of like the yellow one. That feels awful though.
Right. You'd have to boost it, otherwise it's going to do nothing, probably.
Yep.
Like the way.
Now for that to hit, it's got to actually do damage, right?
Light the way?
Yeah. For it to get go again. You have to charge and connect.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again...
It's a 3 power.
Well, it's because it costs 0. And that's what I like about it. I like the idea of a cost 0 that could gain go again and also lets you charge your soul.
Yeah, but you're going to have to boost it.
Yeah, and I think that is kind of the idea with Bolton. I think you're right, is that he is supposed to boost a bunch of things.
Yeah. I forget, does he boosts by himself,
He
right?
boosts by himself if you've charged. He boosts it +1, which is obviously not enough to make some of those good. But he has a lot of cards that are like... Isn't there one that's like if you've charged this turn, it gives like +3 or something to that, like to an attack?
Probably.
That's how much we play Bolton.
Mm-hmm.
Us never playing Bolton. Also, Bolton winning out like the most games when we did the test decks.
Yeah.
The problem I see here is like 3 gets buffed to 4, and that looks pretty good. But you probably want mostly yellow cards. So then it's 2 gets buffed to 3, and you're not feeling as good at this one. But maybe with enough other boosting things, like a 1-cost target light warrior attack gets +2, you know, it gets better.
And we get a courage token, whatever that is.
Okay.
That one's definitely at the end.
I'm going to skip all the way to the end.
Spoilers. Don't look.
To see if there is a courage token. When you play an attack action card or activate a weapon attack, destroy this and the attack gets +1.
Ah.
Okay, there is a lot more boosting in mine.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. I see you. Okay, so it boosts right now, and then it gives you an additional boost later. And +2's not bad. That does start getting it to the point it can start hitting. So we can use the yellow one without getting too punished. So there's that. That's not bad. And next attack you charge this turn gets +2. That has go again and cost 0. That's okay. All right. I'm starting to see it. Okay, there's a lot of ways to boost things.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Could make it work. Could make it work.
It seems like improvements for Bolton.
Yes. Yes. I would agree. Or at least it seems more fun.
Yeah.
Because, like, before you could do the double axe thing, and that was potentially a lot of damage. But it's just like, it seemed at times like better Bolton was just not using the light stuff. Much, if at all.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things, it was always hard to justify. Whereas here, this is much heavier into the light. And unique in the sense that you're building around yellow cards. Which was always the Prism thing. Except, Commoner, we didn't really have the build around yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was mostly around a Majestic Weapon that required that.
I see.
So now we actually have a deck that builds around yellow. So that is neat in and of itself. I notice we have a bunch of common equipment here. What does this do? Banish this and a card from your hero's soul. Prevent 2 damage.
Oh boy.
That's not awful, at least, though. It doesn't cost anything.
True.
And it can block any kind of damage. It just requires you to lose a card from your soul.
I guess you could repeat that, too.
No, because you have to banish this.
Oh, you banish it
Yeah,
as
they
well?
sneak it.
Okay.
They sneak it. You have to banish the equipment. So my first gut thought was that this is not terrible. And I could actually see a spot where it would be useful. Because my thought was, Hero Souls really, in our play, have not been super relevant. And so banishing stuff from them and turning it into damage reduction sounds great. We just got through a bunch of cards of making Bolton Soul super relevant. And you wouldn't want to lose those cards. So now now that I think about it, I'm feeling less plus on these. I think they're probably neat for draft. But I think most people probably have better than this.
I'm sure there's a build for it.
Maybe. It's just I feel like you can probably get away with just doing Arcane Barrier and physical armor and just making it work. I think if you are going to run the Radiant stuff, I think you have a better chance of using it in Prism. Because you're usually not paying a ton to make a bunch of Spectral Shields. So I could see it there if, like maybe you replace the Ironhide with this. Because effectively they do the same thing. They block for 2, then they cease to exist. The only difference is, instead of paying for this one, you take a card out of your soul.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a lot of ways to get things in her soul just by accident.
Whoops.
Without much investment. There's a lot of stuff that's like, swing for 8, if it hits it goes into your soul, and stuff like that. That's like, yeah, it'll probably, something will make it there eventually. The downside is the light hat is still better, the other one.
Of course.
That lets you draw cards. Bunch of Majestics. And rares. Rares. Common. Blistering Assault. If you have a yellow card in your pitch zone, this gains go again.
Oh.
That's kind of neat. It is expensive, but I could see you get away with it. If you're in a yellow build deck. And I mean, like, 4 power is not awful. It kind of swings past things.
Defender of Daybreak.
That seems very rude.
Yep.
You know what? Actually, the stats on it are not awful, though. 0 for 4. That's... You might play that in a light deck and just randomly blast a blast a shadow player.
Rude.
So true.
Since there's angels, it might not be vampires. I don't really see those as being...
We haven't gotten to the shadow cards yet. There's got to be 2 shadow heroes. Although I'm pretty sure Levia is getting cards in this set, so probably not. Probably not. But you never know. Maybe. At least I've seen 1 card spoiled for Levia that we will not get.
Yeah.
But there is some weird thing where she gets consumed by her demon thing, but then she can become redeemed. It's like a flip card.
Sure.
Yeah. We'll look at it when we get to it. This is not awful. 1 for 5 damage, not bad. Doesn't have go again, but In a yellow built deck, that seems very reasonable,
Yeah,
especially considering this is the yellow version. That does 5.
It's like a it's like a light finisher.
Yeah, kind of. And because it only costs 1, it actually is pretty easy to give a go again too, because Razor Reflex and the boots can hit it too. So that's pretty sick. That one's probably not going to see play. Unless there are a ton of Shadow players at your local game store.
Yeah, that's very niche.
that is very niche. And also arguably bad, unless there's going to be a ton of unspecified Shadow damage below. But like 0 to block 4, like why not just use a defense reaction that would work against everyone? Unless, again, there is a bunch of Shadow unspecified damage below. Oh, well. Here we are.
Levia. Hellhammer. We get that.
We do. I'm having a hard time imagining a situation that we would want to use that. It just attacks once and it's gone forever and will hurt you for the rest of your life.
Maybe we can get stuff back out of the Banished Zone.
It looks sick. I'll say that. It looks sick. Yeah, if there's a way to get it back out of the Banished Zone, that might not be terrible. I mean, the other nice thing is it does turn off your Blood Debt that turn.
Right.
And 6 damage for 2 is a lot. Mm-hmm. So there is that. So, I mean, like, if you only anticipate attacking once, this could be phenomenal. And it's a Levia-specific weapon right now, because it's Shadow Brute. So, I mean, like, how important was her other weapon? Cripplingly so. For filling your graveyard with things to banish. I mean, there's a lot of other ways to discard it. It could work, but that's my immediate concern, is that I was starting to think, I'm like, well, it would be, like, it turns off the Blood Debt. It's like a guaranteed way to do it. It doesn't cost a lot, and it does a ton of damage. That seems reasonable. So in my mind, I'm like, well, how often do we use the weapon in Levia? And then it started all unraveling around me as I realized all the time. We use Ravenous Meat Axe all the time. And in fact, that weapon has now become the staple for all of our brutes. Yeah. The only brute... Oh, and to be fair, this is a great buff for that deck. I'm super excited. This is an auto-occlude in Shadow Runeblade Levia. Because that's the only one that didn't use Ravenous Meat Axe. Of all of the brutes we've made, that is the only one that doesn't.
Yep.
And I did that more out of a rule, because getting stuff into my graveyard could have actually been useful for that deck. But Hellhammer, way better than the one that's in there currently.
Also, it fits the theme better.
It does. It does. So, if you're building Shadow Runeblade Levia, as featured in our last year Halloween episode, you're excited for this one. Also, I noticed this the second I scrolled down to here, but like that is straight up a Xenomorph in the next card there. We don't get, but that is straight up H.R. Geiger right there. I like the Blood Debt equipment that they're going up on now, though. That's a neat concept. Oh, wait. Oh, I know. It's just a different version of it.
Yeah.
I was just getting excited, but that is disturbing. Death Hydra. Sweet. Oh, is that 13 damage?
Huh. Oh,
but it hits you for 13, too.
What's the unspecified one?
Which one?
The one that's a star damage?
If a card with 6 or more power has been put in your Banished Zone, it gains... its power in block are 6.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, it only costs 1. That's why that's good.
I see.
It's a way for you to copy a 6 power attack for only 1. That's not awful, but we also don't get it, so...
Nope.
Pouring out. Where is the... Is that coming later, maybe? The Levia Consumed or whatever. Okay. Here we go. We have hit the commons. Battlefield Breaker. You've banished a card with 6 or more, gains +1.
Oh, okay.
That's not awful, though.
True, but it's 8 power for 3.
Yeah. I mean...
That's kind of...
It is expensive,
standard, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Was there a lot of 8 powers for 3 before? You wouldn't want the blue one. Know that.
I think there were some that were cost 2.
But what about a 7 power for 1?
I think those are rare.
What? Oh, yeah. It's like, no, it's a common. That actually seems really, really good. And getting back to Hellhammer not being bad, this is a change to not having to banish cards from your graveyard, but rather banish them from your hand. That's much more doable. And also works way better with her. I think they realized that. I think they figured it out. They've cracked the code. They're like, oh, Levy is terrible because we make you fill your graveyard to fill your banish zone, and that's too many steps. Because that card, banishing something from your hand, A, makes it more playable, or like easier to play, doesn't require any setup. B, increases your chance of turning off Blood Debt for the turn. So
it's strictly better than
everything in her deck.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
There were 7 power, 1 cost, but
yeah, that's Savage
quite
Swing, isn't it? Where you have to discard the card.
I think so. And there was another one. I forget what it was. It might be like banish 3 to your graveyard.
Oh yeah,
like that.
banish 3 from your graveyard.
And I'm not sure how much they block for either. This blocks for 3, that's decent.
It is. It is. So we're like halfway through Shadow Brew at this point, but much like I said with Bolton, what I'm already seeing makes me way more excited to try Levia.
Yeah, I would include that card.
Yeah, this one in of itself seems like an auto include, and best of all, you can do 2 colors of it and still have the 6 power hit. So that's incredible. There's another banish from your hand. Oh, that makes that 8 for... How about 8 for 2?
That's pretty good.
How about 8 for 2 that banishes something in and of itself? The downside being that the other colors don't fit the brute well, but the red at least, the red works. And then Tribute to the Legions of Doom. That is... See, this is truly us getting back to some real Levia feel with a title that barely fits into the text box. She easily has the most metal sounding cards in all of Flesh and Blood. Another banished random card from your hand. Okay, so how about 3 for 9? I know what you thought about 3 for 8. How about 3 for 9?
Let's see, what was the card? It was like Rumbling Tumblewood. I don't remember.
Rumbling Tumblewood.
Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Deadwood Rumbler.
Yeah, that's
I think is the name.
That one doesn't.
Now, to be fair, didn't think of it at all until you said what you said. Like I wouldn't have remembered it if not prompted. But that one swings for 7, I think.
Is it?
Or maybe it's 8. Let's just Monarch.
The Redwood Tumbler.
Oh, I forgot about. You know what? The Levia Blitz deck will actually give us what we're looking for, so we'll do that. Deadwood Rumbler, 8.
Okay.
And can't block. And then you... Oh, that... Wait, draw then discard a random card? Is that what it did? I don't remember it doing that.
Were we playing that wrong the whole time?
I don't know. The rest of these look right. Did they do a new... I don't know. I have to look into that. Have they changed the way that card works? Or am I just forgetting how it worked? I don't know.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. We have not played a lot of Levia. But yeah, I like this.
Okay.
This is selling me more, too, on the Battlefield Breaker, only in the sense that I consider a plus for these cards that they banish something from your hand when you play them. But we've also seen plenty of Brute games where the required discard a card will get you. And so Battlefield Breaker at least does not have to do that. Although, to be fair, there probably are other Brute attacks you could do that would do the same. and just probably less damage, but also less cost. But yeah, I like these. These seem good.
So I guess the 8-for-3 for Battlefield Breaker is actually slightly better than Deadwood Rumbler, because that one couldn't block.
That's true. But Deadwood Rumbler also doesn't need any condition set.
True.
It just does it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Alright. The moment we've all been waiting for. Do we get a Shadow Runeblade?
Vampire.
On the bright side, Bolton and Levia are both way more exciting for Commoner now.
True.
The set has done something for us. So when this next hero is Majestic, and I grab the pitchforks and torches, at least remember that we have gotten something out of this set. Rare! Woo! Just the young one. Why did they do that?
I don't know, but I'll take
it. But I'll take it. That's so weird. But so that tells me that they are thinking about Commoner to at least a small degree. That they're like, we'll make the young one rare, but they didn't want to for Prism for whatever reason. They're like, you have the old Prism, you don't need it. Okay, at the start of your turn, banish a card from your hand. If you do, create a rune chant. Oh, right, and you can pay life. That is actually kind of neat. Oh, it makes it so your rune chants can't be prevented.
Oh.
Which that does have some good effects for the cards that need you to do arcane damage. So, which a lot of them are rune chant based. Like yes. I'm thinking of Meet and Greet right now. It's like if it hits, it makes a rune chant, right? And if it deals arcane damage, it gives you go again, or gives it go again.
Yeah,
I think is what it does.
Again. I don't think it boosts it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think it's just like if you do arcane, it gains go again, and if it hits, it makes a new rune chant to replace it.
Yeah.
So
that sounds right.
So Vincent works nice with that. I love the fact that it's making health a resource, because not many. That's like the first hero who's done that, I think, right? You can like pay health to do stuff. So that's sweet. But you do have to play a non-attack action card and then pay. So you have to know ahead of time, though. Like you can't pay it once the rune chant's exploding. But oh well. And she makes a rune chant every turn, so. That's in theory.
And her weapon also, only when it hits. What the heck?
So, oh yeah. Well, you don't want to block it though. Oh, that's why you'd use it. That's why it's good, because it hurts you, but it doesn't cost anything. It's a 0-cost attack. You just have to pay 1 health. That's why it's good.
Oh.
That's why it's good, because it costs no resources.
Okay.
Well, I say that's why it's good. That's why you would consider playing it. It's because you just pay life instead. Which I'm immediately excited to try that. But I also have some serious concerns that this is going to be the one hero that kills themselves even faster than Levia did.
Yeah.
Than old Levia did. I think this may be a race to the bottom, and you're just hoping you've killed your opponent before you've killed yourself.
Want to dual wield flails?
Because already we've seen. Oh my god, it is one-handed, isn't it? You can dual wield flails. So you're paying 1 health to make your rune chant unblockable, which you can potentially do multiple times a turn. You're then paying 1 to attack, and then 1 to attack again. Now keep in mind, it is one-handed, but you have to give it go again. It doesn't have go again, or any way to gain go again on it. So to me, it just strikes more right now as like, oh, now Runeblade can use an offhand. Which the next thing is an offhand. Interesting. But that does mean now you can use the fan, the chi or whatever it was called. It's the Hope Merchant's hood, but the offhand weapon.
I know what you're talking about.
Silken G, I think.
No?
Is that a different thing? Oh, was that the boots, maybe? Look it up. I'll look it up. What was that in? Dynasty? I think it was in Dynasty.
I think you're right. It's either Dynasty or Uprising.
Yeah, that's true. It was before Outsiders, I think. I'm going to laugh when it actually is in Outsiders now that I've said that, but... Hey, give me that back. Silver, Ponder, Gold, Purely Edict, Ornate Tessin.
Yeah.
There we go. Ornate Tessin.
The gi I think you're thinking about
I
is like...
think it was boots or something.
No, I think that's a...
Oh, is it like a really bad equipment?
chest piece.
That sounds about right. But yeah, so you could use Flail of Agni with the Ornate Tessin or the Lantern. So that's where
or
it gets
the
good too.
Grimoire of the Haunt.
Well, we can't though.
I'm just saying.
I mean, you could if you didn't play Commoner. But that said, I do love this. I forgot about the health attack thing. That is cool. That is a neat concept. I could see a world in which you go back to using regular Runeblade weapons, but it's something that, you know, every single person who plays a Shadow Runeblade is going to try it at least once. You're going to try it at least once. Okay. Widespread Annihilation. Nice. Widespread Destruction. And Ruin. Funeral Moon.
Ooh.
Is that a blood moon?
No, it's just a moon surrounded by blood.
Oh, you can play from your Banish Zone. That's actually really sick. I mean, we don't get it, but, you know.
Looks cool.
looks cool. Okay. Rift Skitter. That looks cool. And disturbing. Rune Gate. If you control rune chance equal to... Oh. Okay. So you're getting Shadow Runeblade Viscerai rune chant reduction. Oh, I say Viscerai, but every Runeblade can use it. That's cool. I like that. Because you can play it from your Banish Zone. It's got Go Again. I mean, 3 is a rough cost, but...
That just means you have to have 3 rune chants.
Yeah. The only problem I see with that is that I've had a lot of times that I've paid for these 3 cost things for like 1 or less with Viscerai, but Viscerai can make multiple rune chants a turn, and Vincent can only make 1. So like off her ability, she makes 1. Then if you attack with the flail, you actually consume that 1 and make a new 1. So that's my only concern. But if there's a ton of other ways to make rune chants, it could work. This one you wish it was, which you could. I was going to say you wish it was Chain when you could give Go Again to things. So you could do Read the Runes and give it Go Again. Chain could do that. So Chain can wombo combo with this, where he does like use the token, play Read the Runes, get 3 rune chants, then play this for free, and consume all of them and deal 7 damage.
That sounds like a decent turn.
It does sound like a decent turn, especially considering that at that point you have spent 0 resources and had to pitch no cards. You used your 0 cost hero ability, you used a 0 cost non-attack action card to give you 3 rune chants, and then you used a now 0 cost Rift Skitter from your Banish Zone.
And then you get to attack with your sword.
Yeah. Or the other 3 cards in your hand.
True.
It's ironic that this is rune chant focus. I'm talking about it more for Chain than for the rune chant focus Shadow Runeblade hero, but that's neat.
Okay.
You can only play Rune Gate abilities if you can pay for them fully.
Oh.
That does change the equation somewhat. That's the only way to get them out of your Banish Zone.
I see.
I'm going to have to see some crazy rune chant production down below this for me to be fully convinced that Vincent can make these work. That's a lot of hoops to jump through. Or something that's going to make a lot of Blood Debt cards playable without Rune Gate. Okay, this is just a cheaper one?
Yeah.
This is just a cheaper one. Okay, so this next card is making me realize what this set is. They realized that being able to play so many things for free from your Banish Zone was a problem. And so they're like, we're going to give you a bunch of things you can play from your Banish Zone, and we're going to
But
make
they're
them cost so
expensive.
much. But I mean, Putrid Stirrings does give you a ton for it. Because I mean, even if you take the blue, that's +3.
Mm-hmm.
And a 3-cost non-attack action card that gives you +3 that pitches for 3 makes top 10 of a generics list for Commoner.
I guess.
If you're me, anyways. And you put Slogism in the top 10. So, I mean, it's not awful. And this one, at least, you can play all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no question about that. Which would have been amazing if Seeds was still banned. Because the biggest problem we had when Seeds was banned with your deck was that you didn't have non-attack action cards that came out of the Banish Zone.
Right.
So this would have filled in very nicely there, but you do have Seeds of Agony and don't need that.
Right. I feel like if I'm going to use these cards in Chain,
They block well.
he'll need a complete reconstruct.
I mean, that is probably true, to a certain degree. Actually, yes, because Putrid Stirrings is useless in your deck unless you bring in the Rune Gates.
Mm-hmm.
And if you bring the Rune Gates, then you need to rework the deck. So the problem I'm seeing here is that I did not see anything that produces Rune Chance here. That said, this is Shadow Rune Blade.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't hit Rune Blade yet.
Or Shadow.
Or Shadow. True. I will be shocked if there's Rune Blades in Shadow, though, because that means Levia can make Rune Chance.
Ooh.
And that would be so exciting for my Halloween deck. Absolutely. I will I will admit that would be exciting for the Shadow Rune Blade Levia, but
A Levia with arcane damage?
she would legitimately be a Shadow Rune Blade at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's probably unlikely.
Oh, here it is.
Ah.
Here it is. I believe these are the same card. So I think it starts on this one. Or maybe not. What does in your inventory mean? What does that mean?
I have heard that before.
Is that in your hand?
I
Or like on the field? Or
think it's on the field.
do you have to like arsenal it? Is
It's
it kind
just-
of like the mentor?
I don't remember what in your inventory means.
We'll have to look that
I've
up
only
at
heard it
some
once
point.
before, and I never knew what it meant.
Not that it's super relevant for us because we're not using these cards,
Right.
but yeah, it's like you can turn into Levia Consumed or Levia Redeemed. Yeah, which Levia Redeemed, the last line on that is cards you own lose blood debt. So does some things. Has some low health, but you know.
Yeah.
But for reasons. Alright, and then Shadow Equipment. If you be dealt damage, you may banish this to prevent 2 of that damage.
Okay, so it's just the shadow version of the light equipment.
Yes, except you don't have to banish another card to
Right.
use it. It will just slowly kill you.
Yeah. And it has blood debt.
Yep. That's what I mean by the slowly
okay.
kill you.
Yeah,
Instead, we'll slowly blood debt you to death. Interesting. Bunch of rares. Alright, we hit the commons. Okay. Soul Butcher. So, right off the rip, funny enough, I don't hate it.
Yeah?
Because the red one in Levia.
Okay.
It's a 6 power, 2 cost. Not bad. And if you happen to hit a light hero, it's a 2 cost, 8 power.
I can see that.
I could see it. It's just whether it outweighs the other like alternatives, or if it's good to have more shadow cards in the deck. I mean, like more shadow cards means more chance you can use the shadow hat. So maybe, but I don't hate it from that standpoint. I don't hate Soul Cleaver from the same standpoint. These are basically just the brute cards that were released in Everfest, except instead of discarding cards, they check for soul. but +2, go again. Like that was the like wild, the one where he's riding the boar and for the brew cards.
Wootenhog, I think.
No, not Wattenhog. It was like Wild Run or something
Wild
like
Rider?
that. Yeah.
Okay.
It was like if you discard a card and it has 6 more power, it gains go again, and it costs like 2 and swings for 6. And this blocks. I don't think those ones blocked. But yeah, I don't hate these right off the bat. I think they might be usable. That's also not awful.
Okay.
It's not amazing, but it's not awful.
I think that might work with Chain as well.
It would, yeah. And that means a 0 cost, non-attack action card with go again. The only downside is you can't play it from the banished zone.
True.
But also doesn't have blood debt.
If it gets banished, that would be that would hurt.
It would. It would. and the other downside too is that obviously you have to have an attack that can come out of your banished zone.
True.
But with the current version of Chain, that's like a guarantee.
Yeah.
So
it's a maybe.
And it costs 0. 0 for +3. So it's like that's pretty good. That's pretty good compared to like Come to Fight or the other alternatives. So
was there stuff that came out of the banished zone for Levia?
No, not that we've seen.
Okay.
I think there are ways to make it happen. Well, actually, there's. I mean, so you could use all those play from the banished zone attacks that are shadow cards.
True.
Like where is Shadow Runeblade Levia? But otherwise, no, I don't think so.
So it's more Chain and Vincent? Is that what her name was?
Yes. And then there's a way to give go again to things in your banished zone.
Ooh.
That's nice. That's also a 0 cost non-attack action card. Oh, it has to match the color though. That's a bit rough.
Oh.
But it's still not awful. You could probably run like the blue or the red or both.
Right.
But interesting. What in the... So this is listed as common, but I assume the card that made this is not common.
No, it's probably one of those Levias.
Yeah. Or Vincent, or it's like maybe a shadow one here. There is so much text on that card.
Yep.
Not that. I'm not finding anything that makes Nazareth here. Maybe it was a Shadow Runeblade or Shadow Brute. But interesting. Neat.
Interesting. Why?
Why? Huh? Why is this here?
Why is there a Briar specialization on? Can we use that? Is that what rare is?
No, that's Majestic. That's why I started scrolling. There's an old him card? There's an old him card. He's living legended. We just printed a new card for him? What? That... What? Why?
I don't know.
Why are these here? Well, what?
I guess they're just like, we're short a few cards.
I guess it must be. Well, I can't see how that would possibly blow up in your face. The weapon. As we know, rolling a 6 happens all the time in KO. 100%. Now, if we had all the cards for KO, that might actually be good. Where you can start doing all the stuff that affects rolls.
Right.
We're playing Commoner, where you have none of that stuff.
Nope. So it's either you roll a 6 or you don't attack.
Yep.
And it's more likely that you won't.
Yep. Why are there Guardian cards? What is this? This is not a supplemental set, is it? I didn't think it was. Well, we have an axe. Interesting. Okay. Because my first thought here is Dorinthia, but the problem is a lot of the stuff is sword specific. So can you build her with an axe where this gets really, really good? Probably not. Interesting though. I like it. I like it. And we get a shield for, frankly, I have no idea what purpose. I don't know who uses that. I mean, like, who uses this?
I don't know.
The warriors are Dorinthia, Kasai, and Bolton, right? I'm not forgetting someone, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, that is a two-handed sword. Okay. So he's not using it with his two-handed sword.
Maybe one of his axes.
Dorinthia's sword is two-handed. Kasai's entire hero works around swinging a second time. You could do it with the axe and just use one axe. The axes are totally built around doing more damage if they follow the other axe.
Yep.
I don't get it. Every single warrior is built around attacking with their weapons multiple times and is greatly hurt by using this shield.
It's for the new light warrior in the next set.
Yeah, in the next set. Yeah, maybe. Morlock Hill. Okay. Well, we're starting to actually get flavor text back.
Yes.
After I made fun of them for not doing that in the last thing. Ooh, Scepter of Pain. Okay.
It's one-handed.
It's one-handed, so you can use two of them, or you can pair it with the flail.
Or any other one-handed offhand.
How do you pump this? Can you pump this? Because that's where it will matter. Because this is how you rune gate.
I don't remember if...
Man, you could make such a weird chain. You really could. Because, like, chain can give this go again. I believe. Because he can give the sword go again, right? You have to read Chain's flavor text again, but I feel like he gives any action go again.
I think so.
So, like, he could give the scepter go again. And then do more. Also, the scepter doesn't break rune chants. So is this how you're supposed to do it? Are you supposed to, like, do a bunch of stuff and attacks, and then at the end of your turn you're supposed to build rune chants with whatever was just created, plus you end your turn on the scepter to get another rune chant, and then that's how you build up enough to rune gate? I guess it's doable, maybe. I just can't remember if you can actually pump scepter at all. I don't think you can.
I don't think there's
Wizard can, but
a way to boost arcane damage just specifically.
This is the best buff that has ever occurred in the history of time for Wizard Briar.
Mark of Lightning?
No. It deals damage from an attack.
Okay.
But you now have a weapon that deals arcane damage for Wizard Briar.
Ah, yes. You don't have to hold that stupid book. Is that what she was holding? I
I
forget.
can't remember. I can't remember what we did with that. This set has unintentionally buffed Shadow Runeblade Levia and Wizard Briar an unintended amount. I am sure.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's something with this Scepter of Pain. We'd have to really dive deep into Runeblade to figure it out. But
So if you're holding 2 scepters,
yep,
which sounds stupid,
yep.
Just-
But
you do the first one,
yep,
and I think the second one, if you can pull it off,
yep.
the first one counts towards the second one.
No, I
No?
don't think so. No, because it's part of the action. So it'd be as a part of resolving that action. Second,
okay.
if you were able to do it twice in a turn, you'd be using 2 different scepters. So each one would be doing unique damage.
Okay.
Because you don't have a way to make it so that you can use the same scepter multiple times.
Maybe there's ways outside of Commoner, but I can't remember.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're probably straining our brain here because this isn't for us. But that said, I still think this could be really good. I think if you are going to go the Vincent route or something like that, or if you're going to go the Runegate route, period.
You build and then make your rune chants?
You probably want, like, Scepter of Pain, either double Scepter of Pain, or, like, Scepter of Pain and Flail. Because you could use both. Or you could use one of each, but not 2 Flail.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because you can go Flail and give it a go again.
Right.
And then it'll hit and give you a rune chant. And then you can activate Scepter, which won't pop that rune chant.
Mm-hmm.
And so it'll just add another rune chant on top of it. And so now you have 2. So we still need to figure out how to get the third. Oh, and then your turn starts, and Vincent banishes a card, giving you a third rune chant, which then lets you Runegate.
Right.
That's so many steps.
It is.
And also, the bigger problem to that, that's assuming you're using Vincent, which has a much harder way of giving the weapon go again than Chain, because Chain can just give one of them go again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I could see it kind of working. The problem is Scepter costs 2, so that's expensive.
True.
But I think there's a way you can make Runegate Chain at the very minimum, even though I know it's supposed to be Vincent. I think you could do it with Chain, and it might not be awful. And Chain does need some amount of help, but the question is, will Chain be better by just taking his current deck list and just taking the few things that are useful to that strategy, or is he better completely rebuilding from the ground up as a Runegate deck?
I don't know. I mean,
we'd have to do it to really know.
I always play my current deck of Chain completely wrong because it's
mid-range.
Mid-range.
It's like the only
And
mid-range deck.
And I'm an aggressive player.
Yeah. Oh, and then there's a Rune Chain. Sweet.
But I mean, I guess if you do it that way, you're kind of forcing yourself into the mid-game.
Yeah, in a way.
So I wouldn't be able to play aggressively.
So, the way I could see it, so you either keep the same mid-range strategy now and you just supplement it with the cards that are good for that and help it along, or you kind of become a Shadow Brute of a sense, where you're focused around these big, huge attacks that deal a ton of damage. And so you're just doing, like, big attack, big attack, big attack. I mean, like, he could do that. Like, that is kind of Viscerai's thing, is that it's just about doing a bunch of big attacks rather than doing a bunch of little attacks like Chain does. Like, that's what Viscerai does, and it works. And Chain could do some incredible things if you go that route. Because, like, wasn't one of those rune gates 7 power?
Yes.
So 7 power plus 3 rune chance gets it to 10. If you use the pump spell that gives a rune gate card plus 5, you're at 15. If you use Pummel on top of that, which will work because it costs 3, you can give it unhit discard card and plus 4, I think, up to 19.
And Runegate plays it from the banish zone, so
yeah,
you're not afraid of banishing it.
Yeah, it wasn't in your hand at the start. The thing that gives it plus 5 costs 0. If you had to read the runes this turn to cast it for free. That also costs 0, so that's 2 cards, plus a pummel, which costs 2, so a card to play or pay for pummel. And that's a 4-card hand that gives you 19 points of damage. That also makes them discard a card when it hits.
I see the potential.
Yeah, I'm starting to believe. It's the part in the Matrix where they're like, he's starting to believe.
He's doing it.
But again, this whole thing, the rune gates and the rune chant focus, it seems clearly designed for Vincent, and I'm over here so excited about what it does for Chain, while looking at Vincent and be like, I just don't think she can pull it off. And that seems wrong.
Yeah.
That seems wrong. But like for Chain, it is so much easier. Like maybe we're just missing, like, there's some stuff out of Commoner that makes it even better for Vincent. But like, Chain has the way that can give Scepter or the Flail go again. I don't know that she does. Because I mean, you can't raise a reflex to Flail either, can you? And that doesn't even give go again. Never mind. I lied. Not on a weapon. I don't know. Go big Chain sounds fun.
It does.
That sounds fun.
It does.
And that doesn't sound wild either. That seems repeatable.
It does sound risky though if you can't make the
rune chants.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just having to figure out enough ways to do it. But like, you can do the Flail Scepter thing. So that costs 2. That's it to make 2 in a turn. In theory, your opponent can prevent it, but they'll have to burn a lot on Arcane Barrier or block the Flail.
The Scepter costs 1?
Costs 2.
Or
That's
sorry,
all it costs.
the Flail, I mean.
Yeah, it just costs 1 health.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, who cares about paying the health? They're not going to live. You're going to hit him for 19.
I feel like Oasis Respite might... is that the one that heals? Healing might be...
It prevents and then heals, right?
I think so.
I think, yeah.
I feel like
healing
spells are going to become more prevalent.
This may be the one that finally wants to heal. I love that Briar can use the Scepter of Pain. I love that they just seemingly chose to buff Wizard Briar for no adequate reason other than we would love that. You can use 2 of those in Briar. I don't know if you can ever give a go again, but you could have dual-wielding scepters. Pew, pew. And if I recall correctly, I believe Wizard Briar won that game, didn't they? I think you won. I think Shadow Runeblade Levia lost.
I don't remember.
Now I think about it, I think I do remember, and I think absolutely Briar won. I think I killed myself. I think Blood Debt was the end of me, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
I think we reached a point in which I was able to block all of your attacks, but that left me doing nothing on my turn with like 5 cards of Blood Debt that just went like poof, and just killed me.
And we were sad that Levia lost once again.
Yeah. That is a shapeshifter attack.
Interesting.
I love how they make it a Shiana specialization. Can't let Taylor use it.
Nope.
Only Shiana. Doesn't matter for us anyways, but I do have a Shiana Ultimate Pit Fighter deck that I've never played. And it makes an Eloquence token.
We're almost there.
Ooh.
That's the second thing I think I've seen.
Oh, it copies a card in their hand.
Hmm.
That's brutal against a brute. I just paid 2 and no other costs, and I'm swinging at you for like 9. Gross. New illusionist weapon. Auras you control are weapons with 5 base power and 2 to attack, but they don't have go again. Wait, this is just so. Oh no, because the other one's 3 to attack. It swings for 3 and it has go again. So you can attack multiple times if you have an infinite number of resources, that you most likely don't. Whereas this one doesn't have go again, but swings for a lot more and for a little bit less. I think this in and of itself is better than Prism's other weapon, let alone if you want to go the Herald route.
Right. So the stuff in your soul, that counts as an aura?
No. No, but she can take stuff out of her soul to make an aura.
Okay.
Ironically, people are going to be tired of how much I've done this, of opening other galleries, but I'm just curious. Just curious. Just curious.
Okay, now you're making me curious about why you're curious.
I mean, like, it's... Well, is it worse? Is it worse? It might not be worse. Now that I think about it. Not a terrible idea. No, you're not Nora. I was wondering if it would make dragons swing for 5.
She doesn't need it.
Well, so here's the thing, like, but they would lose go again. So you'd be only able to attack with 1 dragon. But 1 dragon swinging for 5 is a considerable more, like, that's the equivalent of 5 dragons attacking. So if you only have 1 dragon, it now outweighs having 4 more.
Mm-hmm.
But death by 1,000 cuts is part of her strategy, and it would be worse if you just have 1 attack that you can block all 5 of, rather than 5 separate attacks, each dealing 1, so that you have to block with 5 cards that you don't have.
She can create special shields as well, right?
She can now, because of the 1 illusionist card that if it flips a red card, it makes a spectral shield.
Right. So I mean,
which is in my deck.
that could that works because that's an aura.
It could, but the thing that lets the dragons kill you a million times, that is her weapon. So it's all or nothing. They reprinted Crown of Providence? Oh no, that was Crown of Dominance. Big difference between Providence and Dominance.
Yes.
That's neat.
Okay, so it has Blade Break.
It punishes your... Wait, no, hang on. Oh, no, okay, now I get it.
So you need to use it right away, essentially?
Yes. Yep. Because I was thinking, I'm like, oh, the -1 is that way you can block with it multiple times a turn before it breaks, in theory, and punish people for ending the chain too soon and starting a new one. But then I realized it destroys itself at the end of the chain, not the end of the turn. So, no, yeah, it is something where you just have to use it right away. It's Ironhide that's free, but you have to use it on the first or last turn.
For free?
Yeah. Oh, and it really sucks if you're going first.
Yep.
Because...
it just...
yeah.
instantly loses 1.
Yep. It looks sick, though. You can get it in cool foil. I don't hate it, though. I don't hate it.
I think it's not bad.
I think in a deck where you plan to go second, you can make it work. The problem is where Ironhide has been so useful to me, this would not be. Because it's usually I'm holding, like, and this has just happened a lot lately because the decks we're playing, but, like, we have a lot of things that will gain, like, Dominate or something like that. And so I'm holding that Ironhide the whole game, waiting for the right turn to use it. So frontline plating, not good in that situation. But being free makes it really sick. Okay, and the only commons are the tokens?
Courage, Eloquence, another Quicken, and Spellbane Aegis, which I think we've had that before.
We have. We've had all of these before except for Courage
and Eloquence.
And Eloquence.
What is? Okay.
Pretty solid.
There were only 2 things that I saw that created Eloquence.
You saw a second thing? What was the second thing that created Eloquence?
It was the...
I saw the Shapeshifter attack. That was the only one I saw.
It was the Majestic for Vincent.
Oh. Wait, really?
Yeah.
She creates Eloquence?
Mm-hmm.
Good for her, man. Oh, was it the Grimoire?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. That's why I didn't look at it. I like how she locks herself in an Iron Maiden later. Why? But, yeah. Neat cards all around, I would say. Ironic that my biggest takeaways from this is that Bolton is way more fun now. Levia is way more fun now. Our stupid Halloween decks are way more fun now. And Chain may be way more fun now.
Mm-hmm.
None of which are new to this set.
Nope.
Not that we got the other new hero.
And then there's Vincent, where we have yet to figure out exactly.
Yeah, it's just, I would have to see. How she works. So, like, wait a minute. This has Go Again, Rift Skitter has Go Again, but that's the only rune gate with Go Again? Because it's like maybe you're supposed to end your turn with Read the Runes or something like that. But it just seems so difficult. I mean, if you end your turn doing Read the Runes, that gives you 2 rune chance, so then you have like 4 possible cards that'll do this. Then her start of her turn makes a rune chant and gets you there. Unless they expect you to just time walk yourself and just go like, okay, start turn, banish card, get rune chant, pass. Next turn, banish card, get rune chant, pass.
Have they
Or I guess you do like banish card, get rune chant, scepter, pass.
Yeah. Have they done like, I remember for the last set they did previews for like how cards would work with heroes. Do you think they did that for
I don't know.
Vincent?
I'm gonna have to look. It'd be hard to make it work, but there could be something. I really do think Chain could actually do some crazy things with this, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, rune gate that's 7, 3 rune chance, 10. It's a +5. Oh, you do have to pay for that one. I forgot about that. It's not a 0 cost.
Yes.
That is rough. But that could be in your... that'll be in the banish zone too, so then you have an extra card to pay for it in hand.
Right.
Perfect. It all works.
And then you have to pay 3 to play it out of your... Wait, no, you can't play it out of your banish zone, can you?
What? No, you can.
Oh, wait. Oh,
yeah.
It just automatically
Yes,
can.
automatically.
Okay,
that one doesn't require anything.
Yep.
It only requires resources.
Okay.
See, it works.
It does work. It's just
combine this with like Seeds of Agony.
If you don't have the resources to play it out of your banish zone, then you just you take 1 damage. Well, what's 1 damage?
Okay, so we start our turn, activate Chain. We play Read the Runes. We make 3 rune chants.
Mm-hmm.
Then we pitch some blue card, and we play Putrid Stirrings, so that the next attack card we rune gate gets +5. Okay? Now, we crack our Goliath gauntlets.
Okay, so that's
+2. So then we play Phantom Wraith. Not Phantom Wraith. We play Phantom Banshee. Swing for 7. Plus another 7 for 14. Plus 3 rune chance. Get it up to 17, and then we pummel to 21. And if it hits them, they discard a card.
And how many?
And by if it hits them, I mean when it hits them, they discard a card.
Would we have enough for pummel?
Yeah. So Phantom Banshee and Putrid Stirrings are in your banish zone because they have to be. And so you have Read the Runes in hand. Then you have Pummel in hand, which costs 2.
And
then 2 blue cards.
Okay.
Yeah, or blue and yellow. And that's not even using the arsenal. Something could be in the arsenal, and then more cards in hand.
Mm-hmm. It's potential.
So Read the Runes is in the arsenal, so that you have Come to Fight in hand and 2 blue cards, and you swing for 24.
All right.
I mean, jokes aside, that's actually not that crazy. Because, like, you just keep the Read the Rune chance, or, like, Read the Runes in your arsenal until you can pull the turn off. And then you just do chain things and keep banishing cards off the top of your deck until you hit this. And then you just combo off.
Right. So that would be, at the very least, your turn 2. Not turn 1, because you'd have to have something in your arsenal.
Well, you also need cards in the banish zone, so...
That's true.
Yeah. So you crack the ebb and fold to get this card into the banish zone, drawing a new card.
Just turn 1. I'm gonna crack my Evanfold. Oh no.
But But, like, imagine, turn 1, you're like, you do all this, and you swing for, like, 21, or whatever it would be at that point. Like, what are they gonna do? What's your opponent gonna do?
They're gonna draw up for their next turn. That's what they're gonna do.
That's true, and then hit you with all their guards, because they lost nothing.
Well, you're drawing up, too.
That's true. But I think that could be fun. I think that would be a fun build of chain. I think it could work. And then, like, you could even add, like, non-chain specific things. Like, you could, if you're going to go for the go big, hit hard strategy, you can start bringing in some of the cards Viscerai's using for that, which are also really easy to use with chain, because, like, some of them are the attack that does, like, 4 for 2, but it does, like, 7 if you make an aura.
Right.
Chain just makes an aura. Like, Viscerai, you have to jump through steps to make the aura for that. Chain could just be like, yeah, I got this. Aura. And also says go again now. So, like, yeah, you could do that, and then you just go big chain. Which does sound very villainous.
It does.
Although I do really like mid-range chain, because it's, like, the only mid-range deck.
It is.
And it is quite impressive when you can pull off the turn that's just, like, boom, 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 just out of your banish zone, playing nothing from your hand. Like, that always looks so sick. The problem is you die before then.
Yeah, you get raced to death.
Yeah.
It's like
the
things I could do. I do like go big chain.
My biggest concern is that there won't be enough ways to make the rune chance. That would be my biggest concern.
Yeah, because it's just read the runes.
Does the 3.
Does the 3.
Now, you could also do yellow read the runes for 2, combine it with the scepter. That'll also get you to 3. In theory, that one's less. That one's more fragile because they can arcane barrier it. But you could flail, then read the rune. But then you don't have to go again. But that could be the end of your turn. These could all be turn enders. But I think it could work. I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I think probably the best out of this whole thing, that I'm like, I don't struggle at all to see how this would be good, is Bolton. I think Bolton is the one that's like, yeah, that's just good, I think. I think Prism is probably better, which she wasn't that great in Commoner before, I don't think. Although we just really don't play her that much, so maybe I'm wrong.
You could be.
You know.
I think she was decent the last time I remember playing against her.
Yeah.
Question mark.
I don't know if I've even used the pummel version, which is just like big attack with pummel. But yeah, so I mean, like, I think what this set did was it made a lot of old heroes better. And then it has Vincent if you want a puzzle.
Yeah.
Which, and to be fair, maybe I'm being overcritical here. Like, okay, so, like, here's the funny thing, is that, so I've been very critical on Vincent over the course of this episode, and talking about how, like, RuneGate is just better with Chain, and, like, Chain is so much better at and all that. Are you supposed to just build Vincent like you would build Chain? It's just a bunch of cheap play from your Banish Zone cards?
Maybe.
And she just does, like, a bunch of attacks every turn?
I guess.
Is she supposed to be Chain and he's supposed to be her?
You are banishing a card just straight off from her ability.
Yeah. I mean, you're not banishing as much or as quickly as Chain. And Chain, you get the 4 cards in hand, where she's only going to have 3 cards in hand because she banished one. But, I mean, you make Rune Chance, you can make them unblockable, you play that stuff. There was the new Shadow cards that can give things go again, so that she's not necessarily handicapped by not having Chains free go again. So, could. Maybe. I'm not confident that that version of Vincent would be better than that version of Chain. But I am somewhat convinced that that version of Vincent would be better than RuneGate version of Vincent. At least in Commoner. Because, again, all of this with a grain of salt, we are looking at it through the lens of Commoner. Maybe all of these other cards suddenly make Vincent incredible. But in Commoner, I'm not seeing it. But, that said,
yeah,
awesome set, though.
I do want to see like how people go about it.
Yeah, see what other people, what decks they have for things.
Some fresh eyes.
If we could find some commoner versions, that would be also especially incredible.
Well,
Just see
that's what I
do.
mean.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's hard to find commoner deck lists.
It is.
So, or at least it was. Check with these new ones, maybe we'll find more, and that would make it a little bit easier. But yeah, I'm excited for Bolin. I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm excited for Bolin.
I'm excited to rebuild Chain.
Yeah, true.
As I've been saying forever, I need to rebuild Chain, and this gives me an opportunity to do it.
Rebuild Chain, and I think you may also be excited to rebuild your Shadow, your Levia.
True.
Because I think that's also going to be a lot better now.
I don't think that needs to be completely restructured.
No,
that's
I think
more
it's
of
just
like supplement.
That said, we haven't done the Levia deck in a while, so there's probably a bunch of other new things that would be good in there.
True.
So, but it is, that one's more of a straight upgrade. It's not like a totally different way of playing the game. It's just an easier way of playing the game that is similar to the way you were already playing. Whereas Chain might be an entirely different way to approach the game.
Yep.
Fundamentally different in every way.
At the very least, it seems like it's more in tune with the way I tend to play anyways.
Yes. Yeah, a little more aggressive. It's the go big aggro rather than the go wide aggro, which is how you were playing it before.
Well, I was playing big when it was supposed to be wide.
Well, no, you were definitely playing wide. It's just you were supposed to be mid-range, playing more defensive, and you were playing more aggressive.
True.
Because, like, Briar is go wide, Viscerai is go tall. And this would be go tall. But yeah, so that's Dusk Till Dawn. A pretty exciting set.
Yeah, I do like this set.
It probably speaks to us well, too, because we started with Monarch. That was the new set when we started.
Yep.
And the very first game we ever played was Prism versus Chain.
Yep.
Which I will never forget just because of how that game ended, with me absolutely pummeling you on the ropes and you saying, I only need 1 health before killing me on 1 health. It's one of the greatest called shots in card games. I only need 1 and then you killed me. You said that and I laughed thinking you were an idiot, and then you killed me. You won with 1. Exactly 1. It was outrageous.
Funny because I also wasn't expecting it.
I know. And I knew you weren't either. But that said, I'm not actually that excited for Prism, but I am excited for Bolton.
Yes.
And for building Bolton the way that I built Prism with a yellow focus, except his is actually more yellow focused and for a good reason.
It's predominantly.
Yeah, this is sick. I love it. So yeah, we've got some cool things to do now.
Yep, it's a good way to procrastinate from the things we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, finishing our top 8.
Yeah.
That we were doing.
That's what we were doing.
That we already did the first group of, and not the second group of.
Coming soon. Probably.
Which we'll almost certainly announce in that video as episode 29, when it will actually be episode 30.
Yes, probably.
But yeah, if you enjoy commoner content for Flesh and Blood, leave a like, comment below, and subscribe for more commoner content coming soon.
Yes. Bye.